Welcome back to the program. We're joined now by Representative Tom McClintock. He's a Republican from California and a member of the Budget Committee and Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration Integrity, Security, and Enforcement. Welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me.
You voted for yesterday's continuing resolution.
I did.
Tell me why.
Well, I don't like CRs, but I like this one. And the reason is because it gives us the time to finish the work that DOJ has started and gives the president added flexibility in managing the nation's resources. 4 words: in DOJ we trust.
What are you hearing on the Senate side? Do you have any friends on that side? What are they telling you?
I can't read minds, and I haven't talked to any of them, so I have no insight on that other than I would hate to be Chuck Schumer right now. If the Democrats block this and force a shutdown, they're going to be in the same position that Republicans were during the Obama shutdown. I was there. That was not pleasant, and it didn't last very long before the public had enough of it.
The Education Department has announced that it is laying off about half of its workforce. What's your reaction to that?
Well, old-fashioned. I believe that if a dollar that is not spent in the classroom is a dollar wasted.
You believe that money's not being spent in the classroom?
No, I think a lot of it is spent on bureaucracy, on a lot of useless programs. Put that money directly in the classroom. You know, we had a much, much better school system when teachers were in charge of their classrooms, when principals were in charge of their teachers, and when school boards were in charge of their principals. That system worked and worked very well. As power has devolved first to state capitals and then to Washington, our schools have deteriorated dramatically. I think we need to ask a very simple question. Has the quality of our public education in America increased with the Department of Education or declined? And the answer is screaming at us. It's declined. It's declined rather dramatically. Clearly, the Department of Education in Washington is not helping. I think it's actually hurting.
You said on the House floor last month, quote, "Hell hath no fury like the deep state scorned." That's become obvious from the over-the-top hysterics directed against Elon Musk as he turns over bureaucratic rocks and shines a light on what has been going on beneath them. A lot of Mr. Musk's critics, it's not about wanting to save money, it's about how he's going about doing it. Do you believe that he has been taking a hatchet or a scalpel to government cutting?
Well, I think he's been doing what's necessary to bring our spending back in line. Remember, we're now at a point in our history where all of our discretionary spending, that's every department of the government except for entitlements and interest, is borrowed. Every dollar of it and then some. The interest on the debt that we have now run up, just renting the money we've already spent, is more than we spend on the entire defense budget of this nation. That is completely unsustainable, and it requires huge remedies, not incremental steps at this point. And that's exactly what Elon Musk and DOJ are accomplishing. He thinks he can save $1 trillion over a year with his current inquiries. I think that that's probably reasonable, and I think it's absolutely essential. History is screaming this warning at us. The countries that bankrupt themselves aren't around very long, because before you can provide for the common defense or promote the general welfare, you have to be able to pay for it. And the ability of this country to do so is coming into grave question because of years of reckless and out-of-control spending and the amount of waste. Just sheer infuriating waste that they are discovering is enormous. I mean, he reported just the other day that there were 3,100 people who, according to the Social Security Administration, are over 115 years old, who have active Social Security accounts, who took out SBA loans amounting to $330 million. You know how much of that money's been paid back of those SBA loans taken out by people over 115 years old? Nothing. America has been robbed blind by these bureaucrats and these reckless spenders, and Elon Musk's work is absolutely essential if we're going to save our country.
Congressman, do you have any of your constituents in your district that have been laid off as a result of DOJ?
Oh, yes, yes.
About how many?
Well, in Yosemite Park, where they're having protests and telling us that this is going to mean the extinction of species and tourists locked in bathrooms. We took a look at these huge cuts in the Yosemite staff. Turns out 10 probationary employees out of a winter full-time workforce of over nearly 500.
Are those the only federal employees that have been laid off in your district?
Well, then there were another 15 or so that were early retirements. I'm speaking now of Yosemite Valley. Look, we employ far too many people doing far too little, and that's become very apparent. I mean, basically what we have is a new boss who's come in. He's brought in an auditor. The auditor calls in the staff and says, "I'd like to see your expense account receipts." And the staff goes berserk. And he says, and while we're at it, I'd like to know what you do for the company. And they freak out. Well,
So you believe everybody?
what does that tell you about what's been going on?
You believe everybody that's been laid off has been laid off for cause. In other words, they were not performing or were not showing up.
No, I think that there are an enormous amount of useless positions. Well, you talk about not showing up. We asked Yosemite Parks Management, well, how many of your employees are still working at home? They couldn't tell us. But we do know that in 2023, 34% of National Park Service employees were working from home. What does that tell you?
If you'd like to join our conversation with Representative McClintock, you can do so. Our lines are Democrats, 202-748-8000, Republicans, 202-748-8001, and Independents, 202-748-8002. This is an article in CBS News with the headline, California Representative Tom McClintock cancels some office hours in wake of Trump policy protests. Can you tell us what's going on with that?
These are staff office hours. I have the western slope of the Sierras. We've got a lot of small towns spread out throughout the mountains. So instead of people coming into our office, our staff goes out and holds meetings with folks who are having troubles with various bureaucracies, VA, Social Security, and the like. Within the last few weeks, these meetings have been disrupted by protesters, which isn't fair to the people who are coming in to try to seek assistance, and it's not fair to the staff and the abuse that they've taken. So I decided that it was best to suspend those until tempers cool.